Hey gang, I mentioned in one of my videos that I had a gas tank vent and fuel line to replace in my beloved MS200T because I thought that it was the reason for it bogging down. So I went through all of that time, trouble, effort, and energy, which, by the way, is no easy task, okay? You have to literally go down to just about the block to get everything out. The entire upper bale has to come off, your side handle comes off, pull cord comes off, everything has to come off. Carburetor has to come off, yada yada, so on and so forth. And this is the old one, and after I got the old one off, I vacuum tested it and it's just fine. So that's why it's back in the bag, so that I've got it as a backup. And my screen is filthy. And then the same thing with the tank vent, it's just fine too. So but as I went along and did all that work, I thought, alright, cool, now I can take this thing outside, I'm going to start it, and it's just going to run like a gem. Not. It ran the exact same way. That's when I came back in and pressure tested the fuel line. So now it runs like a top. I mean, it runs just like it did when it came out of the box. So what did I do that was different? A $5.99 part was all that it took, all that it would have taken to get this beloved MS200T Stihl chainsaw back in service. It was the gas cap. That's all it was. It was just the gas cap. I don't know if you can see because my view screen's really dirty. But this gasket, this O-ring, is split. You can see right there. Split. It's gotten old. So the tank was not sealed and it was leaking. Not a lot, but it was leaking. A little bit of fuel here and there. If your tank is not sealed, then your pickup and your vent and everything, the way that they're designed to work, is not going to work right. It's not going to be able to create the pressure in the tank to keep the gas going into the Zuma carb to keep the saw running properly. So before you go through everything I went through, check your cap and check your O-ring and make sure that your O-ring isn't cracked and dry rotted and dry checked. Because as you can see, new cap, and I like the lines on them now too, because pop it off and turn it to remove it, your lines go against one another. When you put the cap back on and turn it, your lines line up. So, and you guys might have heard the little psst when I opened it. That's what you should hear when you open the tank. It's got to be a sealed system, just like in an automobile. This was preventing it from being a sealed system, ultimately resulting in failure of the saw to run properly. So, there you go. I spent, I don't know, close to 30 bucks on new fuel line and vent. Plus I spent 2 hours disassembling, installing, and reassembling everything. Intake boot and everything was great on it. I mean, everything was just fine. It's frustrating. So do yourself a favor. Learn from my mistake. Check your cap first. Make sure that your O-ring is in good shape. You do that, and your O-ring is not in good shape, a simple $5.99 replacement cap, and you might just be back in business. So use that as your first step. K.I.S.S. Keep it simple, silly. I know that last part isn't exactly the way people say it, but I don't like that other word. So anyway, there you go. That's it. This was Zippo's lesson for today because I just washed my hands of it yesterday and then was out and about today and went ahead and stopped and picked up a new cap because I noticed that the O-ring was cracked and that the tank was leaking a little bit. So learn from my mistakes, folks. Give her a go. Start with the cap, start with the cheap stuff, start with the easy stuff. That's it. Later. No.